And we are live. Okay, cool. And I just gotta pull this camera through. There you go. Now we're in. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. It's another Friday, you guys. No 24-hour stream though today. Only the 2 hours. Heyo.
Feel like I want
Hey,
to
Tap.
die.
Gyro Stage, good evening, Tia Rampa. Hello, Adoroid Theorist. Hello, Tia. Yes, and you're the third, but actually you're the fourth. We're the fifth. Says XBKE Potato. Hello, welcome everyone. Ollie, hello, woot woot.
Years. Hello.
Blue Boy Bit says, darn, I was excited. No 24-hour stream? Yeah, Resident Sleeper. Don't give me any of that. I mean, I'm the one that was sleeping. 24-hour streams are hard.
Next slept like nearly half the day after the stream. The moment the stream ended, Next was like, right, you guys, I'm done. I'm going to bed. Bye.
Yep.
Oh well, this week you
I wanted to like I had a whole plan of stuff that I was going to be doing on that stream, but it all just started dwindling away because the only thing that I wanted to focus on was making sure that I was giving away the prizes. So.
And how bad that pizza was sitting.
Yeah, the pizza didn't sit well. I got my antacids, and that helped me pretty nice.
Yeah.
Hello, Angel. Hello, welcome everyone, and thank you, Pearl Prime, for cheesing us. Thank you for the cheese. We should actually, to be honest with you, we should have a Twitch chat command for cheese. I feel like that would be appropriate.
Prime has actually made a Twitch Prime command for cheese, and we can look at adding it to our. We can look at adding it into the Twitch chat.
I think that would be appropriate.
I'm gonna jump the VR.
Also, let me increase everybody's voice because it seems a little bit kind of low on the stream. Is that better? Can you guys hear their voices pretty clearly? Start talking, you guys.
I hear voices in my head.
Okay, yeah, I think I can hear you good.
coming through loud and clear.
Perfect. But yeah, nice to have you guys here today. We're basically gonna just be doing kind of like a Q&A type stream, just relaxing with community.
Bit of a chill stream.
Love to you guys too.
Only 23 hours.
So
this
we already have a question right off the bat.
No.
Rampa says, point redeems when I have almost 88k channel points at the moment. We'll save them because we probably might have them. I
have plans.
Okay, so Wraith has plans. There you go.
I'll be able to bubblehead everyone.
Yeah, that could be a cool channel point. Yeah, bobblehead everyone, or just fun stuff that you'd be able to do with channel points.
I do have some ideas of how things we could do with the channel points. I've just got to work with Fruits on that for him to actually add them to the Twitch channel, and then just implement the commands into Neos.
Yep, and let me actually show name badges real quick because Wraith has now been added on to the Neos team. He's been such a wonderful help here, helping me out with the streams, helping out for before even doing out moderation, but he's now gone above and beyond, has helped us out so greatly here at the team, as well as we have Canadian Git as well here, who has been added to our team too. And he's an amazing individual as well that has been helping out quite a lot here for Neos, and I'm so glad to have these two individuals both added to our team and help get this, community even growing and make Neos to be the metaverse that we all dream of.
Well,
and yes,
the thing is,
Canadians, get close to the camera, you guys. Yeah. Get a little bit closer. They can see you. I'm sure they would love to see you.
There.
Right.
We got murdered.
That did happen. That was part of the recruitment process.
Yeah.
A little bit surprising, but not the first time.
I wish I was there. It sucks that I was asleep when it was happening. Because it was like they got added on right on Saturday, and again, I was asleep Saturday, because... but I wish, if I was there, then I would have loved to fire up my... here, I can re-experience it.
Weren't keen on making it a 30-hour day?
Yeah. Yep, let's watch them being initiated into the team. Their final moments of not being on the Neos team. Oh.
We all ready? We all got our tools. Welcome aboard, guys.
Yeah, welcome aboard. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, this is how we add people onto our team. We just blast them with a laser, and then they are reborn as a phoenix.
Yep, this also happens with the moderation team as well. We actually do line them all up and gun them down.
Yeah. That seems about right.
Oh, it started blasting.
Yes.
We do things differently here at Neos. Very different.
Death ray promotion, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
That's
Death
exactly
promotion,
it.
you know it. Hey Seeker, welcome. Nice to have you here. Not to be confused with the memeverse. I mean, there's been some solid memes here. Actually, why don't we bring out a nice fancy meme that was made out by our community that I'm sure you guys will get a kick out of if you haven't seen it
and
yet.
hi Seeker, nice to see you again. Finally nice to actually meet you last week in Neos after how many times I've seen you how many times I've seen you in chat. I've never actually met you in Worlds, so that was really
Seeker's
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, Seeker is pretty
They're
damn
sweet.
cool.
So this is our Neos meme of the day.
Hey, Earthmark! Oh my god!
If you got, thank you so much, Earthmark. Very kind of you. And Frox is now getting Zeus. So
Thanks for the 10 gifts. Yeah, Earthmark, thanks for the 10 gifted subs as usual.
Thank you so much. Very kind of you.
It's always appreciated.
Yep. And if you wait, stand away real quick because I want the chat to see. So it's a guy saying, "I'm gonna play some Neos to socialize and talk to people, right?" And then him with the dev tooltip to socialize and talk with people, right?
Can I socialize?
Yeah, socialize.
There's also like another thing. There's hyper advanced socialization.
Oh, there you go. We're socializing, having a socializing experience.
This is very advanced socialization.
Yeah.
I think I'm over socialized now.
Okay. Thank you. Also, my dynamics are giving out just a little bit. I probably have to put a cap on people being able to join inside this world. Actually, max 50 is not too bad. Frankly, Aeneas, this is socializing. Yeah. Also, thank you again. Thank you again so much, Earthmark, for the gifted subs. Is it possible if you could actually remove them, because I think they're causing too much lag because of the camera components that's on them. Here, let me. Actually, I think I just grabbed them.
It was the socializing. It was like when I make his mouse.
Sorry, let me undo deleting the chat. Sorry, chat. I'm sorry that I deleted your chat. Don't worry, you're still here. Is that what social anxiety looks like? A bunch of selectors? I mean, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. But yeah, funny meme. Here, we'll put that off to the side.
We got another one.
Blue Boy says, "How was your week?" Amazing. I had a great week. Lots of energy. I was exercising and had a good. Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, this is a funny one too. I just want to chill in Neos. Could you stop anyone for 5 minutes? Yeah, there's an inspector. Nebula, thank you so much for the follow, as well as I think someone also followed. I think it was Skull. Thank you for the follow too, if it was Skull that followed. Ever get the feeling people are inspecting you? Always. Every single time I'm going inside of a public world, I'm just like, hello? How do you plan to optimize Neos even more in the future? I love Neos a lot, but sometimes my frames struggle a lot in certain worlds, says Nebula. Hey, well, luckily, right now, Frox is currently implementing out the new Beppu 2 physics, which allows us to actually have a increase in optimization. So that's actually going to be coming eventually once it gets implemented through. It will.
Progress.
Yeah. and it's getting.
There's actually like a lot of like things like we want to do like for optimization, and Bepo is kind of like the prerequisite for a bunch of them. So like on itself, like the Bepo version 2 is much more efficient, so it's gonna speed up certain things. But it is also like an important building block for like lots of other optimizations, because right now certain things like are not done efficiently, and the more people join, like the more kind of like pretty much like certain components in EOS, every person that joins, it doubles the load, or even like more. So that like as more people join, like it's kind of like it tends to degrade like quicker and quicker. With Bepo, we can actually utilize some of its structures to like do certain algorithms, like especially calling especially kind of calling systems more efficiently. Oh, sorry. And that way, like we can make like the system scale much better as more people join. So instead of like it doubling with every person, you might need to, for example, add like 10 times or like more people as before for like requirements to double. Just very roughly. Like it's a very complex system, but generally it kind of works that way. There's also like lots of other things. We want to like optimize like different parts of the engines that are like more efficient, and even more long term we're kind of like looking to transition to like a more modern engine using better like runtime that has on itself a lot of optimizations. So there's
optimizations we have already expressed is like basically king here at Neos, to where we want to make it as the most optimized experience, because that makes it the most immersive experience for VR that you can possibly have, and making it more optimized to have a lot more individuals to be able to edit in the worlds, and also just be able to have fun and socialize in the worlds. Definitely want a lot more additional people. Also, Pieman, thank you so much for the follow. Am I gonna have to delete the chat though, because the things are still floating around, or are they?
This shouldn't be too bad. Like it's actually I've optimized like these a while back. So like
how long do they last though? How many minutes do they last?
Oh, I think like a minute or two.
That's what I mean. It's been longer than a minute, so they're probably just gonna stay there.
Well, the subscribers.
Okay.
They're mostly floating around others.
Yay!
Okay,
It might be due to the changes to the new chat system. We might have to look into that.
I'll go.
Dirk
Hello,
says,
Turk.
"Hey, Dirk."
Ah!
How's it going? What's up, chat?
Dirk says though, I tried my best to read and understand your diagram planning you wrote up in the Devlog. Could you possibly go into a little bit of detail on some of that?
Similar to diagrams like in Devlog, they pretty much deal with how the physics engine integrates into the game loop, because when EOS updates, it has like a bunch of like different stages. Like for example, when new components get added, like they have like a startup phase, they have like an update phase which runs every frame, they have like changes phase, like when something changes on the component, they can kind of respond to that. There's like other stages that like update the physics, other stages that update like the connectors, like make things actually kind of like render and so on. So a lot of it's kind of like it's sort of like rethinking how the physics fits into that, and a big part of that is efficiency, kind of figuring how can we do that efficiently, but it's also to fix some bugs, because right now like one of the long-standing issues is like when people make vehicle systems, you might like notice that sometimes if you're like in the vehicle and you want to like interact with either like your UI, or you want to interact with like some physical elements, it's like lagging behind, and that's actually part of it. That's part because of like the order in which things update. And for the integration of Bepo 2, I'm sort of like rethinking how that gets integrated so that doesn't happen anymore. So a lot of notes are kind of like about it, figuring like trying out like different like approaches, seeing like what kind of consequences they would have, and trying to figure out like what's the best way forward. Another part is just like thinking how to kind of structure a system, how to kind of prepare it for some future things as well, like once we have like the full rigid body physics as well, instead of like a lot of like planning ahead. So that's pretty much like a lot of what the notes are about. Like they're kind of like my internal notes. I kind of like show them because like I like sharing like some of the work, so like not all of it will probably make too much sense. Oh no.
I want a rose. Give me a rose.
Helps give a bit more context.
I want a rose! Exclamation mark.
I didn't know Fricks had the spice in them to do that.
What? Okay, man.
No doubts.
Pretty cool. But yeah, thank you for answering that, Frox. And yeah, there is quite a lot that Frox covers and goes over. I mean, to be honest with you, I sometimes even look over at his notes, and I just think, what the heck? Because if you've ever seen the images on his devlog, where he posts an image and it looks like really small, and you're like, what is that? And then you click on it, and then you realize it's just this giant... well, I'm sure Frox can even spawn one out, and knowing how big that thing gets. Dar Iceberg, thank you so much for the follow. But yeah, good question there, Dirk.
Oh no! I got shrunk.
Oh, apparently there's a shrink now. I didn't ordain this, but chat certainly did. Oh my
I was gonna say,
gosh.
how many new commands do we have?
Oh gosh.
Oh no.
Several. Do we have them posted? Oh, this is horrible. Wow.
Oh, okay.
Chat!
Will it?
I don't like this! I don't like this at all, chat.
Well, now the notes are quite manageable.
Yeah, where's the... Okay, yeah, why is there a tiny but not a grow one? I'm confused.
We
It just makes sense.
I need to learn how to
I'm
do
a reset.
Because if we had a grow one, everyone would be huge.
Wow.
That's true.
No, I'm
True
not.
statements.
I'm also watching the stream so I can put it.
Jumbo necks.
Big necks, because I didn't make a grow one yet.
Oh my gosh. Well, if you're gonna make a grow one, make sure that's not... Make sure that the grow one's just reset scale and not like,
Yes.
you know, where I'm like... Otherwise, we're gonna be dealing with this issue.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to be dealing with that issue.
No.
Specs... yeah, wow, indeed.
Wow.
Spec says, once the new physics are in, what work are you most excited, are you kidding me, to have finally unblocked?
That kind of depends on the interpretation of the question, I think, because like, are you like interested like which work after physics, or like are you interested like what kind of features will physics unlock? Because like those are both kind of like different things. I can say like for like the physics itself, like one thing we want to do is also like utilize like some of its also like physics, so we can actually do implement like rigid body physics, but it's also like doing the optimizations, because we can kind of like use some of the structures like and mechanisms for a physics engine to actually build other optimizations that are technically not actually physics, but because the physics engine has like a lot of like kind of general purpose like data structures that can help a lot.
Also, this was the notes that I was talking about that Frox usually has. So, I mean, if you can understand this, then you know.
A lot, from what I'm aware, a lot of them are just very like you're writing them as you're
Sketches.
thinking too. So
Yeah.
It keeps going and going and going.
It's not really made like to be like kind of to communicate like things. It's mostly just like kind of my like internal like thinking process, but I'm kind of just sharing them to like a few people to have a look.
oh, thank you. Because sometimes like when you're writing these, you're literally just trying to think how it works.
Yes,
That's what I
Fox says
started
the
on,
latter.
so-
What work will physics enable?
Well, obviously like physics itself, like once we have the engine integrated, we can start working on the rigid body physics, and I think that's probably going to be the biggest thing itself. It's like once we can start like building all kinds of like contraptions, like tools, like and just messing around, like throwing objects around, doing like force fields and like all kinds of like fun stuff.
Yeah. Beer bug, thank you for the follow.
And then it comes like to the other parts, like the optimizations. For example, like one thing I do want to do is like right now like the dynamic bones. There's like a system that tries like to do like some culling, like so it doesn't have to like detect all the like collisions all the time. But it's one of the things that doesn't scale too well. It's kind of scales like quadratically as more people join. So like the more people, like it works well when there's fewer people, but like when there's a lot more, it just tends to like bog down. So like with having like the Beppo integrated, I can like utilize some of the data structures instead do like efficient like spatial queries, and then like the growth is like more like logarithmic, and it's pretty much like if you were to like draw like a curve. So let's say like you have like we have like how much this is like how much performance something takes. This is how many people join. So like right now it's something like this. It goes like really fast. But like when it's like logarithmic, I don't actually know how to draw it well. It's more like that's not gonna be quite the scale, but like it's something like more like this.
Yeah.
This is not drawn too well, but like just to give you kind of the idea is like how like it scales differently.
Fair enough.
Mm.
Also, Will says, greetings, Nexlin and Frux. How are y'all doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm sure Frux is doing good too. Everyone here is doing pretty well. Probable Prime says, once we have physics, the most exciting thing... Oh, that would be cheese physics. Okay.
I mean,
Nice.
isn't that more liquid sim if you think about it with cheese physics? Like melty cheese? That's liquid sim.
Oh, liquid cheese.
Sure, we'll have our cheese baths.
Cheese sauce in Neos.
Oh no.
Actually,
Yep.
Pro Prime will be able to implement cheese physics.
Custom cheese physics. Just to satisfy his lust for cheese. The cheese demon that he is.
He can make it work, however.
Melted cheese is not
ideal
liquid
for
cheese. But I'm pretty sure those still fall under like liquid sim.
Oh.
Prime says, do they both have eye tracking?
How many eye trackers do we have right now? There's 1, 2 eye. One for each eye.
Actually, we have face tracking as well.
Yes, I have eye tracking.
And face tracking.
Eye tracking.
Here, look, I'll even look closer to the camera so you can see.
I see.
Blue Boy Blitz says, so I was wondering, last time I looked, I couldn't figure but is there a way to detect a particular, detect when a particle collides with something, and not the entire system itself?
I think Blue's asking about basically particle collisions and having them like be specific and us being able to use them in a certain way.
Yeah, right now there's not a way to kind of get like any kind of like event on the particle collisions. It's something that potentially can be added. There's a few questions on how to like handle it, because one problem with the particles is like they run like locally for every user. So like even like when you get like let's say like a spray of particles, like everybody's gonna see a little bit things that are a little bit different. And to give you like an example, let's say like I do bubbles like this. They actually float out in somewhat like different directions for everybody, because that's one thing that's like not synced. And let's say like on collision, like you would actually make them like do like a pop sound. If we did that like so it actually happens for everybody, like then like you would kind of see somebody like popping bubbles that you cannot see. But we could also like make it so it's just local. So there's a question like if we want to like expose like those events kind of directly, or we want to expose it through systems that kind of like hide the effects that it's like local. So is that like something that could be added? It's just something we probably need to think about a bit, like how to best approach it. But right now that's not possible.
Well, there you go. Also, to Angel's question, we will probably be able to show off that sort of stuff on like showcase streams. So, Logus, I think this is Ogus, would it be possible to emulate dimensions? Well, I mean, you can kind of emulate dimensions right now. You can have a 2-dimensional dimension, 4th-dimensional. I don't think about 4th-dimensional, except, well, I mean...
I know people made like 4D stuff in here, so I mean...
Yeah, there is a 4th-dimensional, like a tesseract, like, so...
Yeah.
I mean, what more dimension? Like, honestly, like right now we're in the 3rd dimension, 3-dimension. Then there's 2-dimension. We just a flat surface, so you can have that in here, and then 4th-dimensional.
You can
right?
emulate as many as you're willing to do them.
Don't ask me about 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th, or anything like that, though, because I don't think that we can even go in that route.
We'll just talk about the 4th wall instead.
No, don't break 4th wall. That's when it gets weird.
Oh gosh. Kyron says, how can you guys focus with all the chat commands? Good question. A lot of patience.
A lot of practice. We get used to it.
I mean, this is generally like low in terms of like Neo scales
Yeah.
that happens every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, compared to the amount of stuff that we have going on when we're off
That one is
stream,
still one, still one that's
You
pretty.
have unwoken
The
chat.
the only reason that the spin. Oh, is the spin broken?
Maybe. I think she just perpetually spinning next.
Can somebody? Well, Zeus me then.
I got you. Wait one sec. I can't respond to your chat. Can you kill next, please? Next is actually just stuck spinning. Oh god.
Okay, next is coming.
I think this Twitch chat
Thank
might
you.
have to, I think
Oh,
this
there we
Twitch
go.
chat might have to go for now.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Probably,
I can't get
yeah.
the lightning.
I think this Twitch chat might have to go for now.
I would recommend it if we can. We
Yeah,
can probably
just-
use the old one for now.
Boom.
Until we've got that one fixed.
And that's
all
also
good.
how we can make it so we can focus better. Good God.
Yeah.
Special chat.
From Jurazo, would Minecraft and Neos be possible? Brooks, do you want to answer this one?
Yeah, I mean, like, it kind of depends, like, on what exactly you mean. If you want to kind of recreate, like, a game like Minecraft eventually, that is definitely gonna be possible. It kind of depends, like, on the scope of the game, because right now, some people have already kind of made, like, kind of, like, Minecraft blocks you can place around. The problem is, like, it doesn't scale to really big worlds, so, like, generally just make, like, smaller things. Once we have things like the terrain system, then we kind of, like, make that easier, so we can actually kind of build large terrains and, like, build, like, logic on top of that. So, overall, yes. Like, if you mean, like, the Minecraft game itself, that's a little bit more, like, iffy. Like...
We need something like
it's
emulation
probably
or.
to create, like Minecraft style games.
You can
Yeah.
you could definitely make like Neos made Minecraft likes, but if you want like straight up Minecraft, yeah, that might be a bit tricky.
Yeah, but we do have Minecraft style stuff inside of here though. Like you can play around and build with Minecraft blocks or import Minecraft maps that you've built in Minecraft. So definitely you
I
can
thought it
do
was
that
gonna
sort
be
of stuff,
such-
which is actually what Frox was
No, this
doing
is the
for
one that
a little
actually
bit.
has the spin completely fixed.
Okay.
Good. Here, we'll put it right
By
there.
Priginaut, how will physics interact with things? Will things finally fall down when let go? We'll be able to throw things. How about all those things that already have the throwing implemented in logics? So physics in that degree is like two different things. You have the actual underlying engine, which is like doing all the interactions. And then you have rigid bodies is more so what you're expecting with like actually being able to throw.
He tried very hard to get through the question. Another 10.
Challenge, answer the question before the lightning strikes.
I would like to say I got through all of it. Yes.
Do you know what's really funny is how many targets there are over there for Twitch?
Yeah, we got like an audience here right now.
I'll answer it also for the fact of them saying like, how about the things that already have logics implemented? Those things are still viable and you could still use something like that, but you know, just like everything, you know, things eventually become out of date. And when it becomes, you know, out of date, you just don't really use those items anymore, and you probably, a lot of those items will probably just get replaced. Planet, I'm gonna Zeus you.
There's a big difference between the logic stuff and... Oh wait. Hi. There's a big difference between logic stuff and the stuff that would be implemented as like an actual system. One's automatic, one would be more like controlled, and you are controlling the physics simulation. So, but yeah.
Think about it like this way, like once we have like the physics integrated, it's like another tool that's like part of Neos, and you can use it to like build objects that are kind of throwable, that like will fall like when you let them go. It's gonna make it much easier than like building yourself, but like you still have the flexibility. If you really want to like code your own behavior with logics, you can still do that. Those existing items will still work. So it's pretty much just like adding another tool to the toolset that makes like certain things like a lot easier to do.
Earthmark with the next new, very interesting question. How do you plan to deal with desync issues in physics?
That one's still not fully decided, so like right now we don't have a specific plan. There's
Oh wait, Frix, you're gonna get Zeus.
Okay, we're getting rid of chat. Yeah, chat's deleted now forever. At least until we can answer questions.
Yes.
I got backlog.
Yes, I know. You love
It's-
lots of love. I know. Love and chat.
So I don't know, it's pretty much like too early, so also don't know yet exactly. There's like few approaches like how to like deal with like physics synchronization, but right now the focus is on just like integrating the kind of like static stuff for like checking colliders, raycast, sweeps, and so on. Once we get more into integrating the like rigid body, we're kind of start like looking into like how to best kind of handle it. What we'll probably do is maybe like integrate something that's configurable, that's like multiple or maybe even like multiple approaches that you can kind of choose based on what kind of content you're building, but it's still a little bit too early to kind of give like a definite answer.
Also, just a heads up for chat, you don't have to repeat questions at all. If you say it once, we will get it. We literally have a tool to like look at all questions here. It's what we're using.
Yeah, no duplicate questions, please. Thank you. And then Earthmark says, "How do you plan to deal with physics desync issues?"
Oh, that's the one.
We've just
You
answered
just answered that one. Okay, just be sure to delete it once they're done.
Jeez.
Renari says, "Cheese wheel engine when? Never." Next.
What?
Okay.
Prime has to be working on it right now.
Yeah, sure. We'll have probably for April Fool's Day.
Could have.
Cheese Demon Lord when?
She's
Seeker says, "Cheese. What's with all these cheese stuff, you guys? Cheese baptism when you
mention
get
cheese,
promoted
everybody
to
just
mod
loves cheese.
/ Neos. Cheese baptism.
How does it work?
What are you on about right now about cheese baptism?
That sounds
Just
like
imagine-
cheese fondue.
I mean,
You guys are
That's where
special.
you get. That's where you get the team member and you dip them in cheese.
It's called fondue. Oh,
the ceremony
yes.
was a little
Nothing I love
cheesy.
more than being dipped in cheese. Oh, yes, cheese. Oh. Very fancy blue cheese. It will be giving the cheese to our mouse aid. Quite. Yes. Anyways, Scott says, "Are you guys excited for any new VR headsets? For me, it's the Deca Gear." Yeah, I'm excited for. I'm more excited for anything that, again, if it has really good eye tracking and really good mouth tracking, I'm excited for it. As well as it has to have a decent audio and decent microphone, because I do not want to be attaching a mod mic to it, and I don't want to be having audio that sounds like it's off of, PlayStation 2 headphones.
I was just reading Twitch chat and X-Ray Dragon said, "What have I walked into?"
You've walked into the Mouse 8 Sacrifice.
Cheese aficionado cult 9000. Hi, welcome. There's pamphlets to your right. If you would like to become a cheese aficionado cult member 9000, give cheese to Prime. That's how you start.
Oh no!
Ravid says, "What are your opinions on the future of Neos? How do you see the player base growing? Cheers."
I think a question we talk about like every other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things and attributes that play into actually getting a lot of people inside of here. And again, we just even discussed, I think optimizations is a big one. I think once we have the physics inside of here, it will be a big one. Once we have a lot more of individual features, there will be a lot more of a wave of individuals coming inside of here to be able to socialize and use it, as well as we're having events set up here inside of Neos right now. We're having the B-Haptics one, we're having BLFC, we're having all these different ones coming inside of here, which is also going to bolster the user count, and we're working on the Neos trailer. We're doing a whole bunch here on our Neos side consistently every single day, trying to do something or work on something to get more people in here, and also not just get them in here, but have them actually enjoy Neos and want to stay in the experience. And whether that be making games inside of Neos, whether that be making more experiences, events, whatnot, anything that we can do, as well as even these Twitch channels. So I foresee it growing exponentially. Honestly, it's slow growth, but it's exponential with the amount of people.
Growth.
Yeah,
casual
share some
growth.
thoughts at least on it in terms of how.
Sure.
Because the one thing at least I see us kind of growing now is right now we're still kind of in the early days. So usually if you see people here, we're like early adopters, creators, people looking forward to the future. So you'll have that probably for like a little bit, but like as time goes on and you get more people staying around, friendships are being made, you'll start to see more of like the casual user and more of like people like who use Neos more as like entertainment versus like as a platform to build. So it's definitely going to be a bit of like a wild ride for all of us, because it's like I can definitely say 2 years ago I was like not thinking I'd be where I am right now. I'm sure many of us in here as well would too. So it's
A lot has
definitely
changed
gonna
in 2
be
years.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's definitely gonna be really interesting in terms of how it kind of grows and like how many different like weaves of the same cloth everyone is from, as we
Yeah.
all kind of like come together. Just because we're like, this place is cool. So
Yeah, and Seventh Boy, thank you for the follow. And also, if you guys didn't know, like this would be for our event for the Bee Haptics one,
yes,
where it
the
has
graphic that
for the
Chroma made up.
tropical showcase, and this is going to be on July 3rd, 2021.
And for those who were like, "Oh, it's an event, and can I go?" Yes, you will
Yep.
be able to, but it's going to be a map that's going to be released for the rest of the community to interact and mess with too. There's going to be some haptic examples in there for folks to use if they want to like make their own haptic interactions. Because we did get support for it, but still, not a lot of people have been making like toys or guns that support it. So this would actually be a really good learning source for those who do want to add that next level of interaction and immersion for people.
Yeah. Okay, so what's our next question here? Hack says, I got Steam sockets to work on Linux headless, but have noticed they seem to be less stable than they are under Windows headless. Any ideas why that might be?
Mono?
They're not using Mono, it's like a native library. It's very hard to say, like we need to have like a bug report or something, like need to like know more, like is it like crashing? Is it like disconnecting? Like we kind of need more like technical information, so it'd be better like suited for like a potential like bug report or
That
maybe,
might
like,
be
post it,
better
like, into the
for
next channel.
That might be better for the headless channel, because with some of like STID why I just know sometimes that the Linux version of headless will be a bit more chunkier than the Windows one, but that's the only thing I know of right now. So
Yeah.
This is an interesting question. Blue Boy Bullet says, would physics have a toggle for worlds?
Toggle?
maybe.
I think what he's mean,
depends
what
on
I think what he means is like, to like have a toggle to where it's like anything that does have physics could be turned off or something like that.
like physics control in the world, where like
I'm pretty
somebody
sure
has
that's
the
what it means.
choice for like, I want physics locally on for me.
Let's
or
say
I
that
don't
there
want it
right.
on.
Let's say there's physics going around everywhere, and everybody is like having a bunch of things that have physics, and then you could just click till you have like a button to toggle it off. I'm guessing for if they have
Maybe.
admin or something. I'm
I don't
thinking
know
that's
how
what
that
they
would
mean.
work, but because you got to tie
also
the
the-
physics into the update loop, right? So
It kind of just depends what exactly I mean, like just like
I think they want to be able to turn off the simulation of it off for the world completely.
Yeah.
there will be more like a permission system, like where you like
Yeah.
pretty much like you say
okay.
like you cannot add like these components, so yeah, I can like know a little bit more about that one.
We
The
actually just
context.
kind of had this question, so I'll skip that one.
Yeah.
Could you add a button to Twitch chat that lets you toggle chat commands? Yes.
Planned.
Yes.
Yes.
Next question by Gun Griffin. Is there any methods planned for manually initiating a resync? Currently seems rejoining the session is the only solution when it gets bad.
Do you like resync like in case of like queued packets? It kind of sounds like if it's like if you mean that for like that essentially like you start like queuing packets and things start getting like delayed, there's not gonna be option for it unfortunately because it doesn't really fit the system. Like once you're kind of like connected, like it needs to like transfer information and like pretty much the only way is like to just completely like reset everything, which means like rejoining the session. However, there are several approaches, and one of one that we think is gonna help a lot is switching to a better networking protocol. So right now we do support Steam networking sockets as a secondary protocol, but currently is missing like bandwidth estimation, which is like pretty important for us because like the things that are happening in the session like they can vary widely and we kind of need the protocol to be able to adapt. Otherwise, like Steam networking sockets, it's there's also like open source version which we're gonna use, the game networking sockets. They have much better like network performance, which means that in a lot of cases where you are like queuing the packets, they will actually help with that. There's a few other things as well. One of them is having things like mesh networking, where instead of like everything kind of being relayed through like a single like host, some of the like data, especially like kind of like the bulk data, like voice, pulses, and so on, is gonna be transferred like between users directly. or at least like partially. So those cases should overall like help like prevent like desync. But for option itself, unfortunately, that's not is not technically feasible. But
one thing at least to add with
pretty
this,
much like our goal is kind of like to prevent the desync like in the first place.
one thing I at least wanted to add with this, one thing that they were asking is like, is there no way to just kind of like drop the packets and then just have it resume later on?
That's not possible. Like the problem is like these changes that start like queuing up, they need to be applied in the exact same order. Because if you drop them, then pretty much you corrupt the state, which means like things will just end up broken.
Okay, cool. I just did one of the least ask that for folks who may not be aware as to like why we go for this approach versus like saying, hey, can we just get a resync button sometimes?
Thank you for the host of stream, Darky. So we got Ogus with Ogus with another question. Would it be possible to have a way to check data between two worlds?
Cloud variables early right now. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cloud variables are a good way to kind of like sync information between like multiple like active sessions. So
Good question.
Would we ever have anything more real time in terms, or would that
cloud
probably
variables are really real time? Like if you like if you're in multiple worlds and you change something in like one world, if you're in both worlds, it changes immediately. Right now there's a limitation that if you're not in both worlds, let's say like there's a session A and there's like one cloud variable, and like there's another session on a different user, and you're changing the cloud variable, that's not gonna sync real time right now. But it will change in the future. We're gonna like integrate the SignalR service, which is like a push notification system, and it's pretty much gonna be responsible for like syncing the cloud variables in real time, like no matter the context.
That's exciting. Really exciting.
Yes.
And our next question is from Dirk. Might we have the option to choose between discrete and continuous collision based on the need for performance or accuracy?
Yeah, it's very likely. The physics engine, Beppo2, like it has multiple modes and even configuration options for like continuous collision detection. So we're gonna like expose that in whatever way we can.
Ooh, I'm excited for that.
Sounds good.
Thanks, fun.
Jaraz says, what kind of features would you want in a headset?
That's a good question, actually.
All of them.
Yes.
More eye tracking.
I would say the most important. I would say the most important thing for me right now would be better lenses, better field of view, better audio, best microphone. Like, but I would be fine even with the index's audio and the index microphone. And
well, why don't we each say like what our one thing that we really, really want, at least in terms of like what we would want in a headset? Like Wraith or Fritz, what are something you really want in a headset? If you were to have like anything in the world, what would you want for a headset to have?
Well, it's like more like realistic. Like I'd say, like I definitely want a headset that has like both like face tracking and eye tracking. If it's more like really like or something like really like kind of like I could have anything, I would really like to have a headset that can do both AR and VR. So like one that's kind of like light, you can like put it on and I can be like in my room, but I could actually be partially like in an environment. So like let's say I could like see like avatars in my room, like talk with people, like even like do stuff. And then when I want to be like fully immersed in the world, I can just like flip something like down, like a visor, it kind of blocks the outside world and can be like in VR. So that's something I'd really like to see, but that's more probably like more for the future.
Actually,
cool concept,
the Varjo headsets, they have a really good AR pass through with VR inside of it as well. From what
it's also been like too bulky. I feel like it's just like on something that's like more like it doesn't obstruct like the real world. So it's more like really
less camera, more physical is what you want, right?
Kind of like a visor type lighter sort of way. If it was for me though, if it's just headset and not like the tracking solution, because if I was to pick something, it'd probably be better finger tracking, like to the highest degree, as detailed as can be. I'm not talking about like Leap Motion, I mean like gloves or something like that. But if we're not talking about input, I would probably say the thing that I would want the most out of just the headset would be kind of what Vrock said, the eye and mouth track, already what I have right now, but it to not be on the outside.
How about you, Wraith?
Well, for me, it is, it's the idea of having the lip tracking and the eye tracking built into the headset as a standard. I mean, fair enough, yeah, we do have the eye tracking built into our headsets, having the Pro Eye, but something like the face tracker and stuff is quite a bulky add-on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would be nice to have an integrated one, sort of like how the Omnicept has theirs.
Okay.
Yes.
One thing oh, go ahead, sorry.
We're just looking for that everything. We have a bunch of different companies that have eye tracking, face tracking, fantastic screens in other places, fantastic audio and microphone solutions, and yet other places. I want someone to bring it all together.
Right. It's really, in my honest opinion, when it comes to the headset market right now, it's there's companies that are doing specific things right, but they're not doing it all right. Like that's the problem right now. There's not one all-in. So there's a lot of features. You can't really just say one feature and say like this is the one thing that I want. When in technicality, there's like 5 other things feature-wise that you could add into that would actually make it good. So
yeah.
But yeah.
If I were to add to this at all, I think, well, maybe a little unrealistic, some sort of like synaptic tracking, or where it can read your actual like spinal cord or head in some way, where like your actual body movements are probably read and had a better fidelity than most things. I know that's like a bit deeper than what most people are probably either comfortable with or what people want nowadays. With like all the reality of like, oh no.
Zerky Dragon is like Neuralink.
That's doing a bit more full dive.
Yeah, but, like,
Neuralink.
It's one of those more where like you kind of want that, like that's what VR has been like. Ooh, the romanticized idea. So
Kalza says, Kalza says, will the step height get fixed with Beppu 2? That's a good question.
I think about it, the problem is like it's not technically not like a bug, it's more like just like a behavior, and this is kind of like undesirable one in some cases, but I'm not 100% sure. But let me actually get a thing ready since I saw the question.
Thank you so much, Earthmog, for all those gifted subs, and thank you, Stan, for the follow. And
this is kind of like me like poking around like the people too, like trying to see kind of like how it behaves, how it can be like tweaked. There's a few things. This is like not the best, by the way. This is just like one of the Beppu demos. So, but I was like testing specifically like the step height, and here, one thing I figured out, like it is actually like heavily related to like the shape of the collider. So, actually there's like multiple things to it. Like in the physics code, there are like some hints like on how to kind of do step up. So it's something that could be potentially implemented as an extra behavior, like with the text, like, oh, there's like something higher, like you're moving towards it, it actually kind of like picks it as the support point and kind of moves upwards. But when the shape of like shape of the collider representing player is like round enough, it seems like in a lot of cases it's actually like sufficient to kind of like deal with the ramps. So it's kind of like, it just kind of like slides upwards. And
because I remember some of the discussions that you brought up was that we wouldn't have step height in Beppu 2, but kind of seeing this now, it actually makes it really interesting in terms of.
I said like we definitely won't have a step height in Beppu version 1, because like since we're planning like upgrade like anyways, that would like not be worked on, because like we'd have to like kind of redo all that work with Beppu 2, so it's just better way to have upgrades. With Beppu 2, I'm like looking into it, seeing like what's like the best possible like approach. Right now I cannot like give any promises yet, but I'm actually moving a little bit forward, so. So here we can see like it's like sliding like upwards, like because it's round enough, but at a bit later point I change like the size of the capsule, so like it's more like narrow, and this is kind of like where it actually starts like running into problems. So you got a bit. Is it playing?
Yep. I think it just has to sync up.
There we go. So see, like now it cannot like travel up because like it's very narrow. So one of the things I'm also considering is like maybe like we cannot change like the shape of the capsule as we like walk around. So for example, like walking fast enough, it's gonna like widen a little bit. So like it's easier like to get, but maybe like we tweak the default like sizes, but it's still kind of TBD. Like have to like figure that stuff out. So not a clear answer yet, unfortunately.
No, that's okay. Thank you for at least sharing and answering these, like, some of the questions and explaining how it kind
Yeah.
of works.
This is like something like I like want to look into at the very least.
Yeah.
No, I understand that.
So Blue Wavelets says, but why sacrifice cheese? Why not eat the cheese? Well, everyone should eat the cheese.
It's you
Guy,
sacrifice it by eating it.
yeah, Guy and Griffith says, what's the gist of B Haptics event?
Well, basically, it's just going to be an event where we're going to showcase all the different type of haptic interactions that we actually support here in EOS, and just the type of different things you can do with it. Like, I know one thing that's typically shown is like, haha, I can shoot you with a gun, or like, haha, I can stab you with a sword, and you feel it. But this kind of goes into the more, like, simpler things you really don't think about. It could be stuff like water interacting with you, or like a speaker going boo, 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 and you feel it in your chest. So it can really kind of like add that next level to doing certain things within EOS. At least
Yeah,
that's the point
like
of the event,
we're already gonna be
off.
having water guns inside of it. You can actually walk underneath the water for the waterfalls and be able to feel it. There's also going to be hopefully different streamers, like popular VR streamers that are actually going to be provided the B-Haptic suit, and they're going to be able to go through the experience here inside of Neos. So it'll just be a fun little event to advertise out the whole use cases of B-Haptics and the future of haptics, because seeing this as iteration 1 is really exciting, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for better haptics and as it keeps growing and moving for haptics inside of Neos as in general. So I'm definitely excited to work together with B-Haptics to, you know, get this event going for it. But yeah, that's about the gist of it. Zekri Dragon says, real frocks or next plush in the Neos merch store when? Collect all the Neos staff. Well,
Oh God.
Well, we already got the VR one, so it's all good. There we go.
Well, we kind of cool. I would like how that works, like as a merge, because this is not something you can just like print. Somebody probably has to like design the plush.
I would buy one for sure.
Be sewn together.
Snuggle. I'm sure we could get factory. There you go. That'd be adorable.
I know like some companies that do that, but
Yeah, let's put fruits on the table.
Okay, so Ken Bobo says, have you ever tried implementing Vulkan on Neos? I don't.
Well, we haven't tried like implementing on Neos. How to answer it? We actually plan to kind of like move to like more a custom graphics engine, which is gonna use Vulkan. It's one of the things that like Geens, like our graphics program, is like primarily working on. It's a very long-term process. Like, it's not something that happens like even like within a few months. Like, so it's probably eventually gonna happen. Just don't expect it any soon.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are kind of like involved, like with the graphics engine, like a lot of like complexity. So it's not an easy switch.
For sure, but you know, it'd be interesting. Patrick says, is there ever going to be a way to add like emotes to avatars, e.g. dances, and have an emote button? Well, we don't have an animation system here inside of Neos quite yet. We do have that on our GitHub, though, of like, you know, the idea of having animations or animations that are enacted out upon the character that wouldn't be actual movements. And I feel like even the best way to probably go about that would be now the new, you know, context hand menu system, and how we have something like that already to where, you know, it's quick, easy access for this context menu, and the system that we've set up for making out your own custom stuff, just for setting up even for blend shapes and whatnot, or switching off different articles of clothing or doing what you want all through your context menu. We'll probably have it in the system to where it'll be like that too, where the emotes will be through the character through using context, which I think would be really awesome. And I can't imagine to see once we do get a form of animation system inside here, but it's more for the future.
It's also like specific like you can do lots of other things that aren't animation, because like you can do procedural animation in EOS. You can also just like drive like particle systems and do like lots of other like cool things that's already like possible like with EOS, and people can kind of tie it into like either like the context menu or tie it like to some like button presses or even like specific things, like for example like this, or like you have like your fire.
Yeah.
So animation is definitely like planned, but like you can also do like a lot of expressivity and like without it as well.
Yep, but really good question. Yeah, I would love to have animations inside here. Plus, it would just be really good for also setting animations for specific characters that you set in the scene, and it would be really great for photography and just like video recording if somebody's sitting in a seat and they're sitting in the way that they're supposed to be sitting, as well as for desktop mode. I can imagine people who aren't able to be that expressive in desktop, showing their emotes through like animation is a great way of making the desktop user feel more alive. Which there's even a really amazing system that one person made out here in Neos using their web camera to be able to actually show their head movement and their face and eye movement on desktop mode, which I thought was so cool. It's like seeing face rig, but in, inside of Neos, which is kind of cool. So Prezek says, has a pretty long question. Will there ever be a public repository for ease of sharing your creations instead of the current more peer-to-peer system where people just share alike, and maybe inventory overhaul to allow sorting, renaming folders in general? Yeah, I believe that this is planned.
Yes. Both are planned for like sharing public things. We're gonna have like marketplace/workshop. That's pretty much the same way like you can submit worlds right now to the public. You'll be able to submit any items. So like tools, gadgets, avatars,
Which would be amazing.
Building things, materials, textures, like whatever item you kind of want to submit to public, you'll be able to do. You'll be able to do it through that. For the inventory, we're gonna kind of move away from like using the inventory like for sharing things, like it's more like kind of like your personal space, but having like sorting, renaming, that's gonna be supported.
Yeah, and having access to all of those items that you guys like make public. It's in the same way that you're able to easily access worlds, is the same way that you can easily access the items of Neos that people want to upload and then create, which is just a much better overall way of going about it, instead of like being like, oh, I met this one person and he so happened to give me this public folder, and it goes from there. But what happens if you never meet that person and you're missing out on some like really amazing stuff that people want public? So yeah, I can't wait for when that.
Search it.
Yeah, and 100%
like,
renaming folders and renaming items and reorganizing all of those stuff has been added and planned for sure. Skywin says, question for Nexlin, how long did you sleep after the 24-hour stream last week, and how was your experience of being in Neos for a whole 24 hours? I would say it actually wasn't too bad. I was just definitely getting a little bit tired at the end of it, like the last 4 hours for sure. And I slept for probably like just a normal like 8 hours. I actually woke up early. I only slept I slept for that, and then I woke up early in 5 hours, and I was actually having like troubles going back to sleep, so it was actually kind of strange. But yeah, it wasn't too bad though, and I probably wouldn't have a stream that long, and maybe do a 12-hour one next time or something like that. But 24 seems a little bit too excessive, and I probably could have, it was just a lot.
I was going to say, regarding at least doing VR for 24 hours, that's a bit more of a stretch than just doing a standard 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in VR. The entire time I was in VR, and I was even like eating the pizza while still in VR. I was going full force as much as I could. Yeah. Yeah. And I was glad to have the rest of these guys be able to help me too, because if I didn't have the help of them, then I would have been, in deep water.
24-hour streams are rough. There's a lot of content to fill.
Yeah, but I'm just meaning even help with being able to give out the gifts. And we're probably actually next time, if we reach our 6,000 follower goal, we're probably just going to be giving out storage next time, because a lot of people were like really liking that we were giving out storage, and I figure that might be like a better approach for the next stream. Plus, it's easier on our side to immediately start giving out what you guys would want. Okay, so Plant Patrick says, would there be a way of having a local drive act as a secondary inventory so you can save items, AVIs, etc., etc.?
More local inventory
Yeah,
management.
I think he's meaning like a cloud.
Oh yeah, I know. There's actually a GitHub I think for it, having like local inventory. It's something that I like want to look into. Maybe like with inventory work. I'm not 100% sure yet.
It definitely would be
it might come like will probably come at some point. Not 100% sure. Like it's probably like we want to kind of like utilize the same like systems we already have like in place. So like we kind of don't have to like duplicate the work. So it's probably like looking to like can like when the inventory kind of gets reworked, can we actually make it so we can save things like locally and browse them locally?
Yeah.
We can already do that for worlds. So like other mechanisms for that are in place. But for the items, it's a little bit like trickier. There's like a bit more work that needs to be done.
Yeah. Really good question though. I think the concept of it is pretty cool.
From Earthmark, will that Signal IR server be accessible externally as well? For instance, making a ticket system where users don't need to be prompted with a scary web request dialogue.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
More so where you mentioned earlier that we were going to have more of a Signal IR support for certain things internally.
Streak, thank you so much for the follow.
More so if it would be accessible in terms of notification for doing stuff like ticket system, if people wanted to make their own stuff in game.
Well,
and avoid web request dialogues.
You're not gonna be able like to use the Signal server directly. It's more like just like using it for internal implementation, but you will be able like to use things that we implement on top of it. One of them is the cloud variables, like that we'll like to sync in real time. We're gonna use it internally for things that are already there, like messaging system, because like that's gonna make it a lot more efficient. Same with like the session discovery and like user online status and things like that. So it very likely won't be like accessible like to the public. It's something like it's gonna be like used in the like background for the features, because if you want to like use Signal R server, like you can provision like your own. So if it was like exposed directly, like we wouldn't be able like to kind of control like security or throttling. So that's generally not something that's like done.
Understandable. Yeah. Okay. Next question. What is your view of the ad stuff Facebook is planning? I am a little scared that VR might get filled with ads even outside the Oculus platform.
Yeah. It's definitely a little bit like worrisome, like in some regards. I don't actually know like too much about it yet. I've only like seen like some almost like memes. But yeah. It's not like one of the reasons like
the ads are ads.
That's the way like it is. It's like a place that's gonna where like the user kind of has like control over like the metaverse, and you have a lot of like control over like your own experience. And we feel like that is important like for VR and metaverse and just in
100%.
general. But yeah, it's gonna be a question like what's gonna happen with that. It's kind of like yeah, hard to predict.
Yeah. But it's funny because you probably saying that, Rampa, you probably saw that on your phone, and in a way that's kind of like an advertisement. You just were looking at your phone and were probably scrolling through and then saw that that's what they were doing with it. So, yeah, I just find it ironic. Angel says, do you guys agree that the AO needs some overhauling? I'm guessing...
ambient occlusion.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, and it is being worked on.
Yes, I'm probably gonna like switch like to all like different mechanism, because the one like we're using right now, it's kind of deprecated, and
yeah.
But I think that's also like really important for you is like it needs like an ability to like adjust it per world, because usually it's like one of those like filters where like it's gonna look good in some scenarios, but like in a different world like it'll produce like too many artifacts. So once we can have like a way to adjust like the post-processing, so like you as a world creator can like either adjust it for whatever like you built, or even like as a user setting you can kind of like tweak it a little bit, like so it kind of works better for you. I think that might make a big difference as well.
Yes, and no Mystic Pearl questions are not closed. You may ask questions. Hilarious Jack says, I want to make solar system someday, so adjusting to counterfloat point large worlds will be one of the big things, including when upgrading graphics, right?
That's more of a question where, like, right now, if you try to make really big worlds in Neos, you run into like floating point error issues. If you get too far, like everything starts to like atomize. So the question is more asking like, would there be any way to counter that or like compensate for that?
There's a few different like ways to kind of like deal with that. So like one of them is kind of like centering things, like everything, like when you, for example, move like too far away, it's gonna keep like pushing like things back into the center. So like you're not actually technically too far, but like making the system transparent. So like for example, to other players or like from your own perspective, like it feels like you're kind of traveling a long distance. And generally like want to like there's like lots of like long-term plans for that. Like I don't know like how much into detail I should go, like, but like one thing that we, for example, want to do is like having, but I feel it has multiple like, things, because like one thing is having like a terrain system which can like kind of like handle like really big worlds, and it's gonna be kind of part of a solution, but also having sort of like domains where like you where like a section of the world, let's say like a chunk that is like of certain like size, like everything is kind of like positioned like relatively within the chunk, and like then like all the chunks can be kind of like moved around as you kind of like travel, and even like change like scales. For example, get a like chunk that's like positioned is for example like scaled up relative like to the smaller chunk, and like if you like for example travel like a long distance, it's gonna recalculate the position so they still stay like within like a smaller range. But right now those are very like kind of rough plans, like there's nothing too specific yet, but it's definitely something like we want to tackle. It's definitely not gonna be like it's not gonna be part of like upgrading the graphics itself. It's gonna separate, like largely separate problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Scout says, can I put the public folders in the avatar station?
It depends on like what, I guess. I don't. That might be a better question for like off stream or something.
I'd probably just link to the directory world.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Directory would probably be better.
Yeah, because that world links up to all of the different public folders, and then you wouldn't have to add in all of them inside of your own world. You could just have like a link to that world, which good idea. You should definitely add that inside there. And I love that avatar station, by the way. It's awesome. I see new players going inside there all the time, and I'm able to interact with them. So, hats off to you for that one. And Guy Griffin says, next, what was the most noteworthy parts of your 24-hour stream? There was a lot. It was a lot of fun being able to do different stuff. We did like ghost talk as well as spin wheel type stuff and fun things. But I think out of all the stuff that I did, my favorite thing was I think my favorite thing was going through the 3D scan that Frox did up. Yeah, I really liked that.
That was really cool.
It felt really realistic, and like walking through it kind of like was blowing my mind a little bit, because if I was like, imagine if the geometry was just a little bit more just flat, it would be like I felt like I just teleported to that place, and I felt like I was walking through an actual castle. It was really cool.
3D scans.
Oh, you have more? Okay, yeah,
lots more.
Yeah, let's show them for sure.
I should bring more 3D scans.
But yeah, out of it, if you go on to that 24-hour stream and you see us like walking through like this castle with lots of greenery, it was really awesome to just here. There we go.
Okay. Wait, let's see. There you go.
There we go.
Now we've just teleported inside of a room. There we go.
Yes.
Easy.
I actually rotate it like this, so it's there we go.
Oh.
Where's the camera? Did I block it?
No, I'm looking through right now. Look at the cat. Wow.
Yes.
But yeah, just going through it, it feels like you've entered a photo, and that to me it always feels just so cool. I love that.
Getting some Mario.
Look through that window.
Oh god.
Look through the window.
Look through the window.
Oh yeah. Just that's a perfect.
Don't look in the window like that.
That's a perfect picture. My gosh. Okay, well, you've seen it here first, chat.
That lined up perfectly.
Yeah. My gosh. Hello there. How are you today?
That's
Um,
that's gotta go on the
but
Discord,
but
Turk.
here, let's shrink this down
Yep.
so we can answer more of the
Let me
questions.
do
It
it
is
now.
freaking awesome though. I love these 3D scans, and that one that you showed on stream was awesome.
I'll bring in more.
Oh yes, and actually I need to
should
still send
publish
you. I
them.
need to send you all still the pictures of the 24-hour
Yes.
Twitch pizza, because we got a pizza, and I took this time
Need to
actually.
reconstruct this.
I actually took 24 different pictures with my phone, so then Frox can actually reconstruct that pizza, and then you guys can see it here on chat, just like how we did with the other pizza.
These foods.
Yeah. Delicious.
Ooh.
And Plant Patrick says, will there ever be a way to name materials you create?
I can actually name them right now by naming the sloth, but I have to like manufacture the material is like if you.
I was like, we already have that, don't we?
You have to organize it into your hierarchy.
It might be also maybe more of a question where like they want to like they made this material, they want the rights and stuff to that material, so they wanted to share and stuff like that too.
Well, that's different from naming. That's more like attaching like a license to it. It's gonna be kind of handled by the license system.
Ken Baru, thank you so much for all those gifted subs. Very kind of you.
Thank
Woo!
you, Ken Baru. 10
Thank
subs.
you, Ken Baru.
Woohoo.
10 subs, woo.
Yeah. But no, just that would be probably more handled license. What were you gonna say, Wraith? I didn't mean to interrupt you earlier.
Woo.
Oh, that's all that's left. I'm sorry.
It's just gone out my head now. I completely forgot what I was going to say.
All good.
It's
So
all good.
Hack says, I
Welcome
noticed with the VBLFC they are using a login with Neos. Is that something special they are granted, or is it a document API somewhere? Really good question. This is a very good one. So why not, Frox, do you want to answer that? Yeah.
Yes. There actually, like a few months back, we implemented like all support, and that's pretty much like what they're using. Right now, it's still kind of restricted for like.
Probable
like
Prime also
emergency-
just sent a link on the wiki about the OAuth. So
He did a tutorial on this as well. Right now, like you cannot just like register your applications. You're gonna have to like make a request, and we can approve them on case-by-case basis because the system is still kind of like early. So it's not. Like Rob Prime has like some like good documentation on how to like use it and how to like use out. He's actually one of the people who kind of helped implement it as well. So it's definitely something we're also gonna expand on like in the future. So like once we kind of like stabilize some things and more like API endpoints, like you'll be able to kind of create your own applications and interact with the Neos API. But right now, like if you're interested in like making an application, you'd have to like get in touch with us, kind of like tell us what you're doing, and we might not approve it at this point. So
yeah, it has to be approved
still
on
together,
some.
right?
Yeah, it has to be approved right now on something on our side, which, I'm so glad that we actually had that, because I thought that was so amazing clicking on that, and it even opened up our like website and our Patreon and everything else that's on it, and it felt like I was using like Google with the API. Like it was really awesome the way that it was connected, and really good job to Pearl Prime for making that out. It was like I felt like giddy looking at that, just like the cool login API system it could detect, and it allows you to enter the event, and it affects you. Like it's gonna also be amazing for like the Meta Movie project, I'm sure, for people trying to do login for connection. So
we're gonna use it for like
freaking
our
awesome.
internal things. Actually, great. Oh, right, disappeared.
No, I'm here.
Oh, sorry, we're on the side of the next. I know like Raid wants to like use it for like the ticket system, like for the moderation, so like you can log in with your account if you're looking into like migrating Wiki to it. So it's probably gonna be like more used to it, and as it gets like more used, like we're gonna like polish it up and like expose it to the public at some point.
Yeah, but great question.
Unfortunately, the ticket systems account thing right now isn't as robust as I'd like it to be, so it would be much nicer to allow people just to log into their Neos account, and then we know who's actually having the problem.
Yeah. Okay, so Rack says, will there ever be a way to implement outside shaders such as Pyumi, which is among the most popular? I think we already have Pyumi inside of here.
No, we
don't?
ZXC.
Oh,
We have
ZXC. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I remember with Pyumi, we had some licensing reasons. I think is one of the.
It's very heavy.
It's very heavy. Problem is it doesn't fit into Neos's shader architecture very well. Like we'd have to like cut it down like heavily. Because like C2 was like a little bit more like it doesn't have as much different stuff. Like a lot of the stuff you can kind of like do here, like using a lot of different other means. So we kind of like picked that one. But on the question itself, it's at some point you will be able to kind of build your own shaders. It's very likely gonna be through like a node-based system, pretty much like a subset of logics. But that also like means like if you wanted to have a shader as Poyomi, you'd have to re-implement it. Unfortunately, like for shaders, there's like not a nice way to kind of convert like shaders like written for like one graphical like pipeline into another. So because of some of the changes like we're playing, and because some of the changes we already like have like with the graphics pipeline, it doesn't like the shader doesn't transfer. It pretty much has to be like rewritten because it's pretty much like a program that's written specifically for a particular graphical pipeline. And that's one of the reasons why we're going with the node-based system, because it kind of gives us the freedom to like improve the graphical pipeline, add new features, and we can pretty much like regenerate and recompile any shaders that you make. So that way, like once we do introduce the system, your content won't break with changes to the graphics pipeline, and we can keep upgrading it. But bringing existing shaders, unfortunately, it's not gonna be like it's not gonna be like implemented that way. You have to pretty much recreate the shader.
Okay, and for this next question, it's kind of like a whole paragraph here. Yeah, zoom that out. Alrighty, so I'm curious, and this is from Mystic Poro. Alrighty, so I'm curious as saving things in the inventory goes when things get backlogged into syncing, will there be something like a tab to show the amount of items, or perhaps canceled, either cancel it? I think it's spelled
Cancel items.
Canceled items from syncing if an inventory is full, so the inventory can be synced without worrying of lost items or unknown storage space. Perhaps like seeing how much an item costs space-wise and the ability to cancel them. All good.
Sorry for the long question.
Yeah.
I think I remember this. They're more so talking where you can see what's getting synced in a queue and being able to like reject or accept or deny certain things.
Yes. Yeah, there's definitely something we want to add, like with the UI overhaul. It's gonna be like a section where you can see like all the like pending like sync tasks and kind of have like some control over them. There's a few things in the question though, like right now, like the way the system is constructed, you don't really have to worry about like losing items unless you delete like your local database, because if it fails to sync, Neos will just try to sync it next time you launch. So for like the question about like being able to see how much it costs, it's a little bit tricky because like the way Neos works, we call it storage. And specifically assets. That means like if you like sync an item, Neos is actually gonna look which items have you already uploaded, and if you already have them uploaded, it's not gonna upload them again. That way, if you let's say you have multiple copies of your avatar, because like unless you change the textures or unless you change the meshes, like those are stored just once. Meaning like every additional. Hello.
Getting comfy. Oh, hello.
Hello. Meaning like every like additional like item, it doesn't actually cause like extra storage, but the system like doesn't figure it out right away because it kind of has to like start process and see like, oh, syncing this will like need this much extra space because there's this much like unique data, this much data is shared. So not 100% sure if we'll be able to indicate it one, at least like not in a clean way. But definitely there's gonna be like UI where you can see like the syncing task and kind of like control them, like resolve conflicts, maybe like cancel them. So.
Yep. Hopefully that answered your question, Mystic. And what program was used for the 3D scans? Says Kyubi. So that'd be.
I use Agisoft Metashape.
Can you repeat that?
Agisoft Metashape.
Give.
Metashape.
Oh, it's Metashape. I'm just missing the first word that you're saying.
Agisoft.
Oh, Agisoft. Okay, Agisoft.
Metashape.
Yeah, Agisoft Metashape. Aggisoft
noticed. I
Metashape.
really like. There's a bunch of like different like software for like 3D scanning. Personally, I really like this one. It's like one of my favorites. You can actually get like a they have like a standard license. Oh, just they have like a standard license. So like unless you're like doing some like advanced like aerial like photogrammetry, they're like measuring things and so on. Like the license is $150 and it's pretty much like lifetime. And they improved it a lot as well. Like when I started like using it, it was pretty slow at the construction, but now it's pretty fast and you can get really good results with it. They also like improved the UI quite a bit, so it's personally it's my favorite. There's some like open source ones as well. I think like Mushroom is like one, so if you want to like experiment around with them, but this is the one I use.
Wow. It's perfect.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
Alrighty.
Mystic says, oh, is there a possible way to carry over the metadata lost in images from when you export them, or is that just unsalvageable? Why is this
They're like
picture?
exhibit-
Oh my gosh, okay, whatever.
He's just watching. He's just watching.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You
He's
just
just
change the
watching.
environment. Okay. Whatever.
They're like exit metadata or like
I think Mystic is talking about, you know when you take an image right now, it tells you where you took it, who's in there, stuff like that. So he's wondering if you export it, is it able to import an image and have the metadata come back?
there's actually a GitHub for that. Like it's something we can add. It's just a matter of like prioritization. Although for some things I'm not 100% certain like if it can fit into like EXIF data. But if you look at this issue, like we'll see like how much data, like metadata we can like add to the image and kind of work from there. Kind of to like export some of it.
Yep, that's a good question. Comet Streak says, how does it feel seeing the community form around this great game? I love the community. I think the community is amazing here inside of Neos, and I'm so thankful to see even more minds inside of here, because the more people that we have here inside of Neos, the more it develops and the more that it becomes alive, and just seeing that community also be so kind to each other really makes me very happy, and I'm sure Frux feels the same way.
Yes. It's really crazy because like development like Neos like we're oftentimes like just thinking like nobody's ever like gonna use this, nobody like cares about this, and it was kind of hard like putting a lot of like work like, and it actually like took it like at that point like several years before even the community started like forming, and over time like we spent like thinking like are we like just wasting our time like working on this and putting like so much effort. And then like the first like community started like forming, like Nex was actually like part of it, like one of the first people like who joined, and it just started like continue like building like over time, and that's kind of like what made the process like really.
It was almost like a year where there's only like kind of like 10 people or so that were like online.
Yeah, it was like what 2018 or
2018 and even some of 2019 as well. There was only like 10 people that were usually online or active sessions, so.
But what was really like cool about it, like, is it like that people like who started like coming in, they kind of like got like what we were trying to do, because like this is a very ambitious project, and like even right now there's like a lot of things that are like very from ideal, and we've kind of like taken like this whole approach where like we're going for like the like long term, like we want to make something that's like a good foundation. It's gonna take some time to get there. Things are gonna be far like from ideal like during the process, but as we get like further in, like it becomes like more and more polished like over time, and just like people like just seeing people like kind of get what we're trying to do and like what we're trying to build, that felt like very gratifying, like very satisfying, and it was really nice like seeing that like all these things like we really hope Neos to be, that people kind of like they got it, like all the like different like possibilities and things like you can like build, and now like the community is like grown like to the point where there's like so much like creativity like every day. There's like people like figure out like all the like different like clever ways like to do all kinds of like things, and like figuring like good approaches and like making things that are like full experiences, like games, like, and but not even just that, like not even just like games, but using it for like things like education like purposes and using it like for research, and even sometimes like people like who actually do like unlocks and like mini stuff, helping people who do like more like research stuff, and just seeing all the kind of like natural like mix.
Oh yeah.
Like it was like one of the like most like satisfying things like to see like every day.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I-
It really is.
community.
No, for sure. Like, I think I joined around when we only had like 10 or 15, 20 people. And like, I remember those early days. Some days were like rough, and then some days are just quiet. You have like maybe the one or two person pop in, like, oh, hey, how you been? What's up? And it's like, it was a really nice, like, small town feel. Like, because I think when I started, business lawyer actually popped in my world and like showed me how to like do some stuff. So it was like really nice. And then he just like spawned like a couple memes into, and I'm just like, oh, I love it here. I think like the one thing that like blew my mind when I first joined that made me want to like, okay, everyone needs to start coming here, which kind of like made me want to go run to session just to like make sure people feel welcome and want to stay, is like I think Jazz Neo, he spawned like an R-wing in my session. I just hopped in and I just flew off into space. I'm like, what the heck? Why does no other VR platform have this? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, this is
True.
VR. Why? I'm so confused. Like, I think actually when I started playing Neos, Boneworks had just dropped, so
Yeah.
it's like I actually got to see like the two, like, people were like so hyped for Boneworks, but then I saw Neos and like, okay, hi Neos, what's up? Like,
Well, I really
kept
do.
doing like the shortcuts from Neos in Boneworks.
Well,
Like, wait,
I look
doesn't make
at this
sense.
right now. We're in a stage of like, yes, Neos is still in development and we're still growing. But when it does get that, we will basically be giving all other kind of like games made for VR kind of like a run for their money per se, with the amount
No, for sure.
for the amount of experience that you'll be able to do so. And I've seen things inside of here already that you probably wouldn't even see in a AAA game title for feature wise of like what it can
See,
do. So.
So
And
it's
that's the
not,
thing that
it's
excites
not
me.
just the fact that it's giving people a run for their money, but it's also the fact of seeding and inspiring and pushing
Yep.
VR forward to many places other
Because
places haven't before.
because there's even
Yeah.
some games that can't accomplish out those types of things with, like, let's say if you're trying to just make a one item specific, like a game would be like, why would we want to make that item, how are we going to implement? But inside of here it's just
Yeah.
like you just do it to do it, and it's fun.
Yeah. And
enjoyable.
that's actually been
Or
one thing
say
that's
like an idea, and 5 minutes or 5 hours later, it's a
Yeah,
reality.
it becomes a real
Yeah.
thing. Exactly.
Thing is,
But yeah,
there is-
really
there
good
is quite
question
a
from
few
Comet.
things on Neos, and I look around the community, I think, wow, how have they done that?
Yeah.
and that's it also solves one of the bigger problems in VR right now, where you have like a lot of big titles, but there's only so many. So there's like either like a mixture of lack of talent or a mixture of lack of reach for folks to do this. So Neos acts as a nice like starting ground, or like a new grounds in a lot of ways, because I get those comparisons for like early YouTube animators and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where people can just come here, grow their craft, grow their experience, and then go into bigger and better things someday if they so choose.
Yeah.
Let's get.
And-
Also, the
and
point,
it-
like of Neos is
Yep.
like just being able like to tinker around and experiment and kind of get like immediate kind of results, and like even like being able like to collaborate on something like with people like without like delay. It just it creates like this like effect like I really like to call like creative resonance, where you kind of see like people kind of like feed off each other and like make some like really cool things, because like Neos kind of like removes like those barriers that like we would normally have, like with like the processes like taking too long or having to have like a build process and so on. So it's really amazing
Yeah.
like to see like all kinds of like stuff like that.
Yeah, and then
sure.
I want to get into more of these questions because we only got 30 more minutes on the stream. It's already went an hour and a half already. Angel says, is that a Neos issue, or is it just my luck? Whenever I scale myself down and then weigh up, my dynamic bone colliders become gigantic and grab them by accident. It might be an avatar thing. It might just
Yeah,
be
that might just
specifically
be a
your
setup
avatar.
thing.
And it might be something straight, because I've never experienced that myself. If I scale myself really fast, like I could do it right now, and and it's fine for me.
Next question from Earthmark. Any plans to allow third-party OAuth providers to log into Neos? For instance, using Google account login through OAuth instead of Neos itself.
We have specific plans for that right now. Probably maybe at some point. But yeah, not specific plans right now. Like we'll see like if there like grows a need for it.
Yep, and
Okay.
Doba says, any plans
Next
to
question.
ban anime avatars? No. Anybody can express
Yeah.
themselves in any way that they want, and you can use whatever avatar in any as long as if it's in public and it's something that is fine for public.
One thing I actually wanted to add for this, if we did have plans to ban anime avatars, that would make no sense because then we have to ban everything and everybody's the same. And that's not fun.
No,
So,
definitely.
yeah, banning anime avatars would be kind of stupid.
Neos is 100% the platform that we love to have just self-expressionism and being able to fully express yourself in any way that you want here inside of here. Like we are completely we support that for any individual wanting to do that, and it doesn't matter what avatar you wear. It matters the person behind the character at the end of the day and who they are as an individual.
Because the funny thing is, if you were to, then it's like, oh, I can't be this, but then I can be this. That's not fair.
We'll just ban all avatars and have everyone going around in VR headsets.
Oh, that's fun. That's exciting.
Okay. Next question. That's not going to happen.
Experience.
No, completely not.
Sorry, I have to look beautiful and gorgeous.
Turn everyone into skeletons. That's even the point then.
Yeah, I guess what I already get that in reality in the future, Canadian.
That's
right. Everyone gets there eventually.
Yeah, I eventually get my skeleton avatar, so and I'll be having a long time that I'll be inside of that one, so I'd rather not while I'm living. Anyways, Rex, I mean, like, what do you want me to say to that? Rex, follow up to the shader question
Skeleton
with
party win.
during Halloween, we will have a do 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 do. Yeah, okay. Would their node-based creation be kind of like how shader graphs in Unity used to work? It's a good question.
It's
not sure.
probably gonna be like similar in some ways, but like it's way too early to answer any specifics. Like it's
Fair enough. And Earthmark says, due to how the BLFC bot works, it seems like an externally interfacing with cloud vars is highly useful, but it's almost entirely a bot operation. Do you plan to categorize accounts into users and service accounts, headless and bot accounts, this time with a question mark? Okay. Yeah.
I'm not
I think it's more a question of separate. Yeah.
It's more having a flag on the account that says this is a bot account, so this can do a little bit more than a user, but it doesn't work as a user.
Which I think we kind of have that somewhat now, but it's not quite like that in the system.
Really. Well, maybe we'll probably have like bot accounts for like Neo, so we can kind of like register one and kind of like do like some operations with it. With like the cloud firewalls, we're probably gonna have like so you can actually use the API directly, so you actually don't have to go through the bot. So yeah, for categorization, I'm not 100% sure like what we like do. It's not about to interpret it, but like, and I think like what we want to do is like you'll be able to like, kind of work with the API directly, so you don't have to like go through the bot. So like you can create like cloud variables, you can write values and things like that, like without having to like send like the bot commands.
Yep. And then Angel says, Frox, do you think it would be a cool idea to be able to edit shaders in Blender shader editor and export that as a custom shader into Neos?
That's very unlikely, unfortunately. Like Blender is very like different system, so like even like with the system like we built, I don't think there's gonna be like an overlap like to kind of do that.
Maybe a third-party tool if somebody were ever to make it out.
Thank you so much, Snooper.
Like, makes like a converter. I'm not sure if we would do that like ourselves. But like, the problem is like the Blender shader editor, it's like made for like a ray tracer, whereas like the Neos one is gonna be like more tailored for like it's gonna be more tailored for like real-time rendering. So there's probably not gonna be like 100% like overlapping functionality, and I don't know if it's like feasible to even like translate it, because like if the systems just work like too differently, like it is almost like trying to take like a Java program and automatically translate it into C#. It's just
No, I get you.
It's too complex to like do any sort of like automatic conversion. Like you could
There's a
maybe
lot of
do some things that
differences.
get you partway there, but like the automatic conversion, like, is not too likely.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of
I'll-
differences between the two programs that kind of just like stop it from being able to be a thing quite easily.
Yeah, also, Snooper, thank you also for the 1,000 bits as well. Snooper gave, I think that's
20 subs and 1,000 bits.
Yep, and 1,000.
Oh,
Thank you so
wow.
much for that. Actually, you know what? For the last 20 minutes, you can actually re-bring out chat, Wraith. We'll have chat can mess around. Yeah, you can do it for the last 20 minutes. So we'll try to answer these questions while you guys do chat commands or whatnot. You can use whatever you want. Preferably
So
not the
much.
Zeus one constantly. But I'll allow for at the end because you know some
Let the
people like
chaos
to.
Oh,
Goodbye, everyone.
Aw.
Wow.
Your head is normal size now.
Boo 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 boo.
My head is normal sized, yeah.
He's normal. Spec says, would it be possible to use Git or some other systems to version control Neos's worlds?
Can we
Not
use you for
offensive.
version controlling worlds?
Oh, you pain.
Can your bones handle that?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, good news. Good
Depends
news.
on the
Oh,
feed.
gosh.
But to the question, would it be possible to use some sort of Git or version control software to for controlling what version of Neos worlds you have?
That's kind of tricky because like Git generally works like on text-based like assets, and like the way like Neo stores worlds, it's not too friendly for that. So like we probably have to like mix, like we have to like make like some serialization that's kind of like friendly to like that kind of versioning. It's definitely like possible in terms of like it could be implemented. It's just gonna take a fair amount of like work to actually do, and don't know like how practical it will be because there's also like a bunch of things like having the assets and like other things. So it pretty much like would need to be like something that's like deterministic. So like if you have the same world, you make some changes, it like results in similar like structure, because right now like that can potentially change quite a bit, and that will pretty much like.
I think the shrink
Like,
is on the new one, you guys. Sorry.
It would be
Yeah.
it would be kind of like trying to like version like almost like binary assets. So that's it's something I would like think about like if you wanted to do that.
It's getting hot in here. Why is it so hot?
But to add on, just in case of this question,
It's getting so
would
hot in
we
here.
have
Did
some
somebody
sort of
turn on the
version
fire?
control?
Somebody turn on the heat inside of here. It's getting really hot. See? Don't you see the fan?
Oh. Wait, what's it blowing snow with the?
Oh, now it's cooling down a little bit. Ah, nice. Thank you for balancing that out. It's going.
Thank you.
Um,
But to at least follow up for that one question as well, would there be some kind of version control for worlds in general going forward, if we can?
Probably yes. Like we probably like do like something that's like more like that kind of works like that's just like the Neos system. It's still kind of like a challenging problem because like ideally for versioning system you want like if you have multiple people working on it, you want ways to kind of like merge changes. So like let's say like somebody edits something there, somebody edits something there, but like two people edit the same thing. How do you kind of like merge those two together? So.
No, that's understandable.
So definitely something we'd like to add at some point. We don't have a specific plan for when. It's definitely like interesting problem to solve as well. So. Pretty.
yeah, as well as the people that are trying to do shrinking inside the chat. I don't think this is the chat that we spawned out. That's the new one
No,
that has
I
the
have
Twitch
not
segment.
spawned out. I've
Where
not
do we
spawned out
have the
chat that
Where do we
has-
have the new one?
I'm not going to bring it back out because there's a few fixes that need doing with it.
Ah, fair enough. Okay. Well,
Because the spin command's broken and it gets you stuck in a spin.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has been doing that.
Plus,
And
I
we
think
don't
there
want
was
that bad.
some. It was actually kind of chunking the world out a bit too. Because instant that went away, it came back frame-wise.
Well, a lot of people left in the world because they're wearing characters too. But Delirious Jack says, you guys remember my 0.5 frames per second when I joined and made that Windows XP Hill world? Yes, I do remember that day.
Oh. I think I have photos with it from that one.
Yep.
Remember
And
where the potato badges came from? Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Actually, yeah. If you see the potato badge around inside the world, it technically was made after Delirious Jax per se in his horrible PC at the time. Actually, yeah. Here's
They had like
this is fine.
Ti or something for VR.
Oh,
This is fine.
Not the World is a different one, but it's there was his computer.
This is when I was a dragon.
Ironic news.
Look at that.
next to the dragon.
Yeah, I was a dragon.
Oh, I got it. I
Rawr.
got it. I found it. There's also like
That's
the
when
new
Frox was
version,
OG
right?
Frox.
Classic Frooks.
Yep. Classic.
Look. There we go.
Oh yeah, that is the
Oh,
image.
this one.
That is
Actually,
it.
We can just kind of get chatting here and just spin it. Oh, wait.
Wow, can I do it the
Spin
one that
from the
actually
bottom.
has like
No, feel free.
that I can see the camera? Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah. See, there we go. Windows 98 field.
That's it. This
beautiful.
is brilliant.
Mhm.
'Twas beautiful.
Mhm.
Okay, so Comet Streak says, is it possible to design an avatar fully within the current framework? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you can make you can make any avatar inside of here and any character that you
No,
would
wait,
want,
wait.
whether it be through IK or even just
We
use them all.
Yeah.
I am
We have an
avatar made inside here.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, Turk's avatar was literally made in here, and you've got Aegis as well, who made his whole Halloween avatar in Neos as well.
Oh,
The
the,
last one.
The crystalline wolf.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
crystalline
you can do it
wolf,
all in
yeah.
game. You can even connect it
Yeah.
out to like an invisible IK in here, and then just really set up a whole character. Honestly,
Like,
if you
I
really
made
want to
these-
take the time.
The goggles are straight all made in here, and it's just like just a part, you know. So yeah, you can do totally stuff completely in here if you want to. Simple, but in terms of just being able to, yeah, totally.
Which is amazing. That's why we love Neos, collaborative building. Rosilio says, are you talking about
That's
using...
aimed at someone in chat.
Wait, what?
That was aimed at someone in chat.
Oh, okay. Spec says, oh no, I'm talking remake VRML, aren't I? Or is that somebody...
Not too sure
I
what
don't-
the format is.
No VML.
Okay.
Does Neos support Blender meta-rigs in it? Not that I'm aware of. I'm not sure how the meta-rig standard is, but I do know we have our standard with on the wiki.
I don't really know Meteorix myself, so like I have to get more information on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah. Hopefully
Okay,
that
so-
answers your question.
So far we got finally our questions board blanked out, which is pretty good because we're getting pretty close to us, and we're gonna be ending off the stream here in around like 15 minutes. But again, thank you to you guys who have been watching here, following, subscribing, and giving us bits and raids or whatnot. I really appreciate that, and it's really cool to see that we have such a consistently growing user growth of people watching and viewing. I'm actually going to get details right now. Do we know how many more days that we would have to stream if we wanted to get partnered?
Hold on,
Like how many more additional
I'm
days?
actually in the dashboard.
Oh, can you check?
Yes, I can actually. Right, so we are on currently 7 out of 12 days, excluding today, so that will put us to 8 out of 12.
Okay, so if
eight,
that if
nine,
that's the
10,
case, what I'm thinking
4.
we would need 4 more days.
Yes.
Okay, and we have a week. So I'm thinking what we might do is, we could probably, what I could do is for this coming up weeks, just so that we can possibly get partnered on this channel, I think that what would time it out perfectly is if we did it each Sunday for the creator jams. So you could probably like go in for like an hour during the creator jams and stream that, as well as on for Wednesdays, we can do an hour stream showing off, additional features. I would love to have possibly right there for that Wednesday stream to show off context menus and really just have a
that's
whole
fine.
thing that doesn't really have checkmans, that's an educational stream, because there's so many times where I'm helping somebody in Neos and they'll be like, oh, you're that streamer guy that I watched on that YouTube video and you teach me how to do this one thing. And I was like, oh yeah, I mean, that was a long time ago, but it's cool that you like still watch. So I want to keep doing that tutorial type stuff, especially if it's helping people.
I mean, I know
So
we've got the tutorials coming off Prime and stuff, but it would be nice to, as you say, to cover those tutorials in World and show people. Because as I say, I gave a
Right.
very brief
yeah, it was
show
super
of how
brief.
the radio menus were done, but I would like to go into more detail. And then actually, I would have a chat there, but we just wouldn't have the commands enabled, so people
Yeah.
can ask questions on, oh, how would I do this?
Exactly. So it's going to be an So on Wednesday, same exact time at 3 p.m. You guys, we will have that education one. I'm not really too sure what time we're going to be doing the stream on Sunday for Jump, but main reason why I'm doing this is just so then we can possibly get partnered. Because if any time that we're going to have a chance, it's going to be the month that I did the 24-hour stream. So, and I figured that would be nice since we'll get it through, and that should actually be a perfect amount of time because that would be Friday, 2 Wednesdays, and 2 Sundays. So that'd be actually 5 days of streaming, 5 days additional streams. So that'd be perfect. So yeah, who knows? We will probably even keep it ongoing on for just like a 1 hour stream on Wednesdays. In my opinion, I think that would be an amazing idea because there's so much stuff that it can be taught inside of Neos in a live session, and almost like as an educational way, because this one is more of like you guys are asking us questions about just Neos as a whole, but I think it'd be really great to show a specific topic and be able to do that. Oh, I love you guys too. Mwah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And as you say, we've got the people there and they could say, oh, hey, how do I do this? And then we could literally show them on the stream there and then.
Yeah,
Instead of them having to dig through videos.
Yeah, and I really want this to be a repeated thing that we honestly do continually, and really it's just about getting back into the swing of it and getting back into the flow of it. And I'm sure we can. And yeah, Bongmaster says yes, tutorials for all the things. Definitely, there's so much stuff to learn here inside Neos.
There was a nice comment made earlier actually from Comment Streak actually, and they said, thanks so much for letting me join the world earlier, by the way, it felt surreal to be there.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's
like when you get into VR and you're actually in the space with us, it's like you feel like it's an actual place.
Yeah,
VR is an incredible technology.
I mean, fair enough, it's all well and good watching us on street, watching us on the Twitch and stuff, but yeah, sometimes just having that experience.
Mouse 8 returns. Mouse 8 returns.
But just having that experience and being able to see the show, or the stream being done live, actually in VR, is quite a different experience, and it is pretty cool.
I found a thing with mouse.
Oh?
From my old archive.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, well, yeah, let's see it.
I don't have it ready, but I
also, Skywind says, yeah, try to get it beforehand,
Okay.
Frux. Skywind says, how does a hug feel with the haptic vest? Does it feel warm? It doesn't feel warm. It feels kind of like a very nice vibration in a way, but it's very soothing. It's like a soothing vibration, but if somebody was to run their finger across my stomach, I'd be able to feel it like if they were running their finger, and also if they, go into my like chest a little bit more, then I'll feel it a lot more. Yes, it's got the good vibes. It gives you good vibes for sure. That isn't a good vibe though.
Good vibe.
Oh, nice.
Hello, I like to spin.
Oh no,
And
the bees.
Bees.
Does it feel like bees?
Yeah, I was looking at the Discord channel, you naughties, where everybody was like spamming bees in the Discord channel. Oh my
We
gosh.
should have a command that spawns a bee,
Yeah.
like one of these.
I'm gonna do that.
Infra says, is it possible to use your computer Iron Man style flying screens hand gesture with all the fluff? Why don't you you should try that and please be sure to record and post to YouTube. Okay, and give me that
Did you
link.
build your computer in a cave?
You can even link that. You can link that video inside the Neos Discord lobby, and I'll be sure to watch it. Mouse 8 when says, "Where are my merch at?"
Mouse 8 merch when?
I'm so sorry, Mouse 8, but it takes us time. You know us developers.
Oh, that's a question actually for Mouse 8.
We want
Has it
them.
arrived yet?
Yeah, has your friend arrived yet?
Friend.
His friend, yeah. His friend.
His friend.
What?
It has not.
Aww.
Well, see that's why he just called it a rat. Can you believe this guy? Chat.
Wow.
Chat. We need to Zeus Fuzzy right now. Ban him.
Technically, the plush is a rat, but it's Mouse 8.
It is an IKEA rat toy. Yeah, but that to us it'll always be Mouse 8.
It's called
It's a
memory.
It's just mouse.
Zeus chat command. Oh no.
Can't Zeus me. Whoosh, whoosh.
And before we add chat commands for chat to Zeus people in chat.
I don't know why it's not Zeusing though.
I think it was because there's been Zeus's done prior.
Is this the Grand Canyon? No, this isn't the Grand Canyon.
This is the Grand Canyon, yes.
Oh wait, this is.
This is actually one of the scans I did as well.
Wow!
Because like one time like we were like in the US.
Just be a lot bigger.
We were like there for an event.
Oh,
and
Canadian!
actually one day.
It's your
we
first!
went to check out. Oh no!
Oh no! You're asking for trouble if you Zeus him.
We went to like check out like the Grand Canyon, and it was like a
It's gonna get
flight
deleted.
like from a helicopter, and like I took like a camera, and as we were flying, I was like taking so many pictures.
I can imagine. Like, good God, I'm surprised you even got this much detail, considering that.
Yes. And the
It's shocking.
pilot was very
Remember.
confused. Like he was like, you should look at the Grand Canyon like with your own eyes. There'll be time for pictures later. I was like. Thing.
Right, taking as many pictures as possible.
Oh.
It's actually one of the few scans I got, like because like it's kind of sectioned.
Yep, Frox did the scan. Frox does a lot of 3D scans, and I love his scans.
Oh,
Should I-
Mouse
should
8
I-
has said, by the way, Fruits,
Yeah.
that they will take pictures for 3D scan.
Yes. That reminds me, I did find some mouse
These are
stuff
great.
that like hasn't been seen.
Ooh, mouse
I
knife.
just need to install like software so I can get it
Wow,
running.
Is
you hear that, Mouse 8? When we got the new deets on Mouse 8. Maybe even Mouse 8, Mouse
Who would
9.
have thought the Grand Canyon would be so big?
It's like it's called Grand something.
Strange.
What? Sorry, Frox was
That
saying
just
that they have
reminds
a secret. My sister Mouse 9 just woke up.
Just thinking about you saying I didn't think the Grand Canyon, would be so grand, just makes me think of that scene in the Flintstones where they're stood at the sign with the Grand Canyon and it's a little stream.
Baby's is saying, for the 3D scan, could you make a video and extract the images later for the 3D scan? Probably.
I don't quite understand the question actually.
Yes, you can do that from video. I generally don't recommend taking video because what matters for 3D scans are not the is not the frame rate. Like you can do with fewer pictures, but you want higher resolution.
Yep.
So generally, like if you take photos that are higher resolution, but you have like fewer of them, that's gonna work better in a video. But you can reconstruct like things from videos as well. It's pretty much just like a real long series of pictures. I actually got like this scan. This scan specifically, this was reconstructed from a video. So it's actually like a little bit like lower quality than the other ones. It's still like not bad, but it could be better if it wasn't. Yeah. Like this one in comparison, this is like.
Ooh, yeah, that one's pretty. It looks eye-popping. It looks like eye candy on the camera.
This one's like more kind of like mashed and kind of like melted looking, but this one's like more like crisp and detailed. And this is like taken with DSLR, I think.
Yep. So you guys, we have only this many more questions that we're going to be taking right now. Any more questions, unfortunately, we won't be able to answer them, but hopefully maybe for next stream that we are doing, you guys, we are doing the community showcase stream. So that's going to be a lot of fun, as well as please, again, check out us on the stream on Sunday and as well as on Wednesday. I'll do a post on the Discord, and I would love to have you guys there because if we have our viewership over 25 or over 75 viewers, as well as them people watching on those streams and on those days, then we can get partnered for this channel, which would be amazing. So the final questions that we're going to be answering are right up here. And, I want you guys to have an amazing Friday. And thank you again so much for watching the stream and getting connected here for Neos VR. So we got Comet Streak's question here. It says, what's the most complex logic system you've seen?
I don't know. That one depends on the
virtual machine. Virtual machine and simple physics system.
Yeah, those are probably would be the most complex ones. I don't think it was anything like more crazy. I know some people like was the during MMC. I'm trying to remember the name. It's the machine that Psyxio did.
I thought.
Was it the brain?
It was the brain. Yeah, it was the brain fuck interpreter.
I wasn't remember the truth.
Yeah, that's pretty much like the VM.
It's probably like the most complex.
That was made by Bombitman as well a while back.
Yeah,
There's
I
also
remember that one
another
too.
one that's made by Outsider for the Chip 8. Pretty much,
That one is. That's actually
emulator.
probably a really good example for folks to like dive into if they really want to mess with that. Because it's like I think hardware to logics. Like he recreated the actual like.
It's pretty much
brain
an
logics of it.
emulator made in Logix. It's a function and you can like play games on it.
Yep.
That's really cool.
And a comment Streak also says, how often are you in public servers? Are you meaning like in public worlds? I'm thinking they're meaning public worlds,
Yeah,
right?
I
I'm inside of public worlds basically every single time that I'm in Neos. I really don't like being in private. The only time I'm in private is when I'm doing work stuff. That's about it. But
I usually do work stuff myself, so I'm not around much.
Frooks is always in private. This boy always be in private, but that's okay. It's okay. It's good. Right now he's in public. Right now he's in a public server.
Yeah. I mean, generally, most of us try to be in public as much as we can, but everyone has like a different tolerance for stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
But
actually, some of us get really busy, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do have to say that my mentors that are here inside of Neos, you guys are amazing for when you go into public and help out all the new people coming inside here. Anyone who's helping out with that, you guys are awesome.
Your mentors, they're my mentors.
Fight.
I don't. They're gonna.
I'm the mentor dad, excuse me.
Yeah. Well, no, he kind of is wrong because technically they don't belong really to anyone. But yeah, he is wrong.
Human
But
beings.
Turk is the mentor that
mentors behind the scenes.
I'm just when I was meaning my mentors, like meaning as like you're my people, like you're awesome, like meaning is in that sort of sense. But Turk took that into a different. It took that into a completely different. It took that into a completely different realm. But yeah,
But no,
my people.
I really do appreciate the mentors for what they do. I seriously say thank you to every time that I see them when I do get a chance to.
My loyal subjects, thank you so very much for your grand due of introduction. My loyal subjects, thank you very much for introducing these Neosians. Quite indeed.
No, but seriously, thank you to all mentors as well too.
Yeah, Next does have that green though. See, boy,
thank you enough for what they do.
I'm the leader of the mentors. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. I don't want to. I don't deal with anything moderation-wise. Oh, there goes my head. It gets big now. I like it.
Green-haired stepchildren.
Yes.
Oh no. Anyway, let's get on to the next question.
Yep. My ego's getting big. I like it.
Mentor Daddy King. Oh God, no.
So what do you think of guys? So what do you guys think of more popular streamers picking up Neos for their streams?
Aw.
Repeat that one more time, because
Love you
I
guys
think
too.
nobody heard you over all the fans.
We love
Give it
you.
a moment.
We
I'll
really
do
love
this.
you. I love you
What
so
do you
much.
guys think of more popular streamers picking up Neos for their streams?
I'm so thankful for that.
Love
It's
it.
it's awesome.
It's awesome.
Actually,
I think it's fantastic.
Spooky.
Bye.
Wow.
I love it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's really nice to have these big streamers coming into Neos and exploring the platform.
For sure. It's really
mean,
cool too, because
actually
like sometimes
explodes.
like they'll come in here like just any other new user and they're like,
Yeah.
I have no clue what's happening.
Woo!
So
But the
it's really
thing
nice to
is-
see their excitement.
But I'll just say this much actually. It doesn't matter whether you're a small streamer or a big streamer. We appreciate that either way.
Yes.
Completely.
Because at the end of the day, you're showing off our, the platform that we work on. Not the bees.
And
Go on next.
yeah, and I was gonna say, now that you even mentioned that, we actually love to support people who are actually streaming out Neos. So if anyone's streaming Neos, we will definitely give them probably a host, and we're gonna be hosting out them if there is somebody else streaming, because we love doing that also, and we love getting streamers inside here because it helps other people to see the game and how much fun that you can have in here.
For sure.
And we got two
last
last questions here. Gun Griffin says, where on the Grand Canyon was that?
I don't actually know because I'm not too familiar.
Yeah, he was flying over it.
We went from Phoenix, Arizona, so it was somewhere at the bottom of it, if you were showing the map, but I don't know more specific than that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then our very final question here from Snooper. What was the name of the software again?
I guess of Metashape.
Metashape.
It's Aggie Soft Metashape. So AGI SOFT and then METASHAPE.
Yep, Snooper got it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Snooper.
Thanks, dude. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Just before we head off as well, we've got all these people who've been sitting here watching us as well.
Yes.
Did you guys want to come on camera real quick?
Do you guys want to come over on camera? Come say goodbye to everybody in Twitch?
Yeah, just come on camera. If you feel comfortable to do so. Only if you feel comfortable to do so.
It might get exploded and just.
They can't. We don't have
Safety
name
not
tags.
guaranteed.
Oh.
Safety partially guaranteed.
Yeah,
Yes,
we've had
look
all
at
these
all.
people sitting here
Oh,
watching
hello,
us while
everyone.
we've been doing the stream today.
Yeah, yep.
Looks like someone got spotted.
Yep. Well, you got bobbleheaded and loved. That's how you know they really love you.
No? Okay.
Oh, but now there's Zeus in them.
You guys wanna
Oh
come up to
no,
this
not
side
not
of the
shy. No, don't Zeus them. No,
getting
no.
Zeused.
How could they? Well, this is why you don't show fresh meat to chat. Okay, so. But yeah, hey, I am definitely not fresh meat anymore. That's for sure. What, you want to go?
Oh,
You want to go?
It's your turn now, next.
One plus side to using the Neroid. I'm invincible to most commands.
Yeah, they can't bobblehead you. You have no IK.
That's a bobbleheading kit as well.
Gee, no
I am protected.
I am protected.
Well, they can
Please be
explode.
sure. Please be sure to clip that.
Oh, no,
Okay. Well, everyone have a awesome Friday. Enjoy your day. Get something good to eat. Spend time, doing what you love and enjoying life. And don't beat yourself up. Stay positive,
Yay!
even when you explode.
It wasn't me this time. Stay positive. Positively explosive. Wraith, please fix the
Fred,
bobblehead
thanks so
for
much for the
Turk.
follow.
Wraith, do not fix the bobblehead for Turk.
Okay. We'll see you guys.
Why we
Bye.
can't
Wave goodbye, everyone.
Guys,
See ya.
Take care,
for the
chat.
showcase.
Stay awesome.
Till next time.
We'll see if we can host someone as well.